What if I told you there's a place where golden temples rise through the morning mist, emerald jungles whisper with hidden life, and turquoise waters stretch so clear they almost don't look real? A place where every street corner smells like sizzling spices, sweet coconut, and grilled seafood drifting through warm tropical air. Where ancient traditions live side by side with vibrant modern life, creating an energy that feels completely unique. Welcome to Thailand, a country that feels less like a destination and more like stepping into another world. From the moment the sun begins to rise, the country starts to reveal its magic. Soft orange light spills across ornate rooftops and winding rivers. Monks in saffron robes walk quietly through sleepy streets, collecting offerings in a tradition that has continued for centuries. There's a calmness in these early hours. The kind of stillness that makes you slow down, breathe deeper, and notice the small details around you. But as the morning unfolds, that peaceful rhythm begins to transform. Markets burst into life. Vendors set up colorful stalls stacked with fresh fruits you may have never seen before. Bright dragon fruit, golden mangoes, spiky durians, and tiny sweet bananas fill baskets like nature's candy. The sounds grow louder: chatter, laughter, the clatter of woks hitting hot flames. Because in Thailand, food isn't just something you eat. It's something you experience. A single dish can hold an explosion of flavor: sweet, spicy, salty, sour, and savory, all perfectly balanced. One bite might bring a burst of chili heat, followed by the cooling sweetness of coconut milk, and then the sharp brightness of lime. Every meal feels like a celebration. And it's not just the flavors that make it special, it's the way people gather around food. Friends sharing dishes, families lingering over long meals, strangers bonding over a bowl of something delicious. That warmth extends far beyond the table. Thailand is often called the land of smiles, and it doesn't take long to understand why. There's an openness here, a kindness in everyday interactions that makes visitors feel welcome almost instantly. A simple smile from a passerby. A friendly wave from a shop owner. A laugh shared even when you don't speak the same language. It creates a feeling that's hard to explain but impossible to forget. And then there's the landscapes. Thailand is a country of incredible contrasts. Dense jungles hum with life, where towering trees create green cathedrals and the air feels thick with the sounds of birds and insects hidden in the canopy. Waterfalls tumble down moss-covered cliffs, feeding rivers that twist through the wilderness like silver ribbons. Somewhere deeper in the forest, something rustles in the leaves. Because these jungles are alive. Exotic birds flash through the trees in bursts of color. Curious monkeys swing through branches high above. And if you listen closely, you might hear the distant call of animals that have lived here for thousands of years. Yet not far away, the scenery shifts again. Jungle gives way to dramatic limestone cliffs rising straight from sparkling seas. Long stretches of powdery sand meet water so clear you can see fish darting beneath the surface. Boats glide slowly across the horizon, their wooden hulls cutting through calm waves under endless blue skies. Below the surface, another world waits. Coral reefs bloom with color, creating underwater gardens filled with tropical fish, graceful sea turtles, and delicate coral formations that have grown for generations. It's the kind of place where time seems to slow down. You wake up to the sound of gentle waves. Spend the day swimming in warm water or exploring hidden coves. And as the sun begins to sink, the sky transforms into shades of gold, pink, and deep purple. But Thailand isn't just beautiful. It's deeply spiritual. Across the country, golden statues and sacred spaces reflect a culture shaped by centuries of devotion and belief. Incense drifts softly through the air as people pause to offer quiet prayers. Even visitors can feel that sense of peace. You might find yourself sitting quietly, listening to the soft ringing of bells or the distant echo of chanting carried by the wind. Moments like these remind you that travel isn't just about seeing new places. It's about feeling them. And Thailand has a way of making you feel everything more vividly. The colors seem brighter. The flavors taste stronger. The laughter sounds louder. The sunsets feel more magical. And then there are the festivals. At certain times of the year, the entire country seems to come alive with celebration. Lanterns float into the night sky like glowing stars drifting upward. Streets fill with music, dancing, and joyful crowds. Lights reflect across rivers and lakes, turning the water into shimmering gold. For a moment, it feels like the whole world is celebrating together. But perhaps the most incredible thing about Thailand is how every day can feel like an adventure. One moment you're wandering through bustling streets packed with motorbikes, neon lights, and endless energy. The next moment you're standing in quiet countryside surrounded by rice fields stretching to the horizon, their bright green blades swaying gently in the breeze. Buffalo move slowly through shallow water while farmers tend the land just as their families have done for generations. Life here moves at many different speeds all at once. Fast, vibrant, chaotic in the cities. Slow, peaceful, and timeless in the countryside. And as you travel further, you begin to realize something. Thailand isn't just one experience. It's thousands of different moments woven together into one unforgettable journey. Moments of adventure. Moments of peace. Moments of discovery. And sometimes, moments that completely surprise you. Because just when you think you understand what makes Thailand special, something new appears around the corner. Maybe it's the sound that reaches you first. A distant rhythm of drums echoing through warm evening air. The soft hum of conversation blending with music and laughter as the sky slowly darkens. Strings of lights flicker on one by one, illuminating streets that seem to transform as night arrives. Because when the sun sets, Thailand doesn't fall asleep. It simply changes character. Night markets appear like living mazes of color and movement. Endless rows of stalls glow under bright lamps, each one offering something different: sizzling food, handmade crafts, vibrant fabrics, intricate carvings. The air is thick with the smell of grilled meats, garlic, chilies, and sweet desserts being prepared right before your eyes. Woks flare with bursts of flame as cooks move with incredible speed, tossing noodles, vegetables, and spices together in a dance of heat and motion. Crowds weave between stalls, sampling bites, bargaining with friendly vendors, discovering treasures they didn't know they were looking for. And everywhere, there is energy. But Thailand's magic isn't only found in the busy moments. Sometimes it reveals itself in the quiet ones. Like drifting slowly along a peaceful river at dawn, where mist rises gently from the water and wooden homes stand on stilts along the banks. The world feels hushed here, as if nature itself is still waking up. The only sounds are the gentle splash of paddles and the distant call of birds greeting the morning. These rivers have carried stories for generations. They've witnessed trade, travel, and the daily rhythms of life flowing steadily through the country. They connect communities, nourish farmland, and shape the landscapes in ways that travelers often don't realize until they experience them. And speaking of landscapes, the countryside of Thailand feels almost timeless. Rolling hills give way to endless fields of rice, glowing bright green under the tropical sun. Farmers work patiently in the water, their reflections rippling across the flooded paddies as they plant and harvest crops that sustain millions of people. In the distance, small villages appear nestled between trees, where wooden houses stand raised above the ground and the pace of life feels beautifully unhurried. Here, mornings begin with the crowing of roosters and the scent of breakfast cooking over open flames. Children ride bicycles along dusty roads. Neighbors greet each other with warm smiles and quiet conversation. It's a reminder that while Thailand is famous for its beauty and excitement, it's also a place where everyday life carries a deep sense of community and tradition. Those traditions run deep. Many customs practiced today trace back hundreds of years, carefully preserved and passed down from one generation to the next. You can see it in the graceful movements of traditional dance performances, where each gesture tells part of an ancient story. You can hear it in the gentle melodies of traditional instruments, their notes rising and falling like waves. And you can feel it in the respect people show for their culture, their elders, and the beliefs that shape their daily lives. Respect is a cornerstone of Thai society. Visitors often notice how interactions carry a sense of politeness and calm. Small gestures, a slight bow of the head, hands pressed together in greeting, express warmth and gratitude in ways that words sometimes cannot. These moments create connections that go beyond language. Even if you're thousands of miles from home, it's easy to feel welcomed. Of course, adventure seekers quickly discover that Thailand offers far more than peaceful scenery and cultural traditions. For those willing to explore, there are experiences that send adrenaline rushing. Deep in the wilderness, trails wind through thick jungle where sunlight filters through towering trees. The air is humid and alive with sound, insects buzzing, leaves rustling, distant waterfalls crashing somewhere out of sight. Each step reveals something new. A brilliantly colored butterfly drifting between branches. A hidden stream cutting through smooth stones. Or the sudden burst of movement as a group of monkeys leap across the canopy above. Nature here feels raw and vibrant, untouched in many places by modern development. Then there's the ocean. Warm, endless, and filled with life. Crystal clear waters invite travelers to dive beneath the surface and explore vibrant marine ecosystems. Schools of tropical fish flash like living rainbows, weaving through coral formations that look almost like underwater cities. Sea turtles glide effortlessly through the currents, ancient and graceful. Even floating on the surface can feel surreal. The water shifts between shades of turquoise and deep blue depending on the light, and towering rock formations rise dramatically from the sea, sculpted by wind and waves over millions of years. Kayaks drift quietly through hidden passages and sea caves carved into the cliffs. Inside, sunlight sometimes filters through narrow openings above, illuminating secret lagoons that feel almost mythical. Places like this remind you how powerful nature can be, and how small we are within it. Yet Thailand's story isn't only written by nature. It's written by people. More than anything else, it's the people who shape the country's spirit. Artisans spend countless hours crafting delicate works by hand, carving wood, weaving silk, shaping pottery, painting intricate patterns that reflect centuries of artistic heritage. Each piece carries patience, skill, and pride. Street performers entertain crowds with music and dance. Fishermen head out before sunrise, casting nets into quiet waters just as their fathers and grandfathers did before them. Generations of knowledge live in these everyday actions. And visitors quickly realize that learning about Thailand isn't just about sightseeing. It's about listening. Listening to stories shared over meals. Listening to laughter echoing through busy streets. Listening to the rhythm of daily life unfolding all around you. Sometimes the most memorable experiences come from the simplest moments. Sitting at a tiny street side table, watching the world pass by while enjoying a bowl of something incredibly flavorful. Riding along a quiet road with warm wind rushing past your face. Watching storm clouds gather dramatically over distant mountains before rain finally falls in a sudden tropical downpour. And when the rain arrives, it transforms everything. The air cools. The scent of wet earth rises from the ground. Leaves shimmer as droplets fall from their edges. Then, Just as quickly as it began, the rain fades and sunlight returns, painting the landscape in fresh, vibrant color. Moments like these happen often in Thailand. They're unpredictable, beautiful, and impossible to fully plan. And that's part of what makes traveling here so special. Because no matter how much you read or how many videos you watch, nothing quite prepares you for the feeling of being there. The feeling of stepping into a place where ancient traditions, breathtaking nature, incredible food, and genuine human warmth all blend together into something unforgettable. A place where every day holds the possibility of discovery. Where the next street, the next path, or the next conversation could reveal something completely unexpected. And the deeper you explore, the more Thailand begins to reveal layers you never knew existed. Some travelers arrive in Thailand expecting beauty. What they don't expect is how quickly the country begins to feel alive around them. Not just visually, but emotionally. Every sense seems to wake up. The warmth of the air on your skin. The constant background melody of scooters passing, birds calling, vendors chatting, waves rolling somewhere in the distance. It creates a rhythm that feels completely different from the pace of life many people are used to. At first, it might feel overwhelming. Then something interesting happens. You begin to sync with it. Your mornings start earlier. The tropical sunlight pours across the horizon quickly, and before long the day is already buzzing with activity. Locals sweep storefronts, prepare ingredients, and greet neighbors as another day begins. The smell of breakfast fills the streets, fresh herbs, rice steaming in pots, spices being crushed and mixed into vibrant pastes. People eat slowly, enjoying the moment. Meals aren't rushed here. They're shared. Multiple dishes often appear on the table at once, each one offering a different balance of flavors and textures. Crispy, creamy, spicy, sweet, tangy, every bite is a small surprise. And as you sit there tasting something new, you might realize that food in Thailand tells a story. Ingredients come from the surrounding land and sea. Recipes reflect generations of knowledge about how to combine flavors in harmony. Cooking isn't just a task. It's an art. Step outside again and the day continues unfolding in layers. Scooters zip through narrow streets with impressive precision, often carrying entire families or stacks of goods balanced in ways that seem impossible. Drivers move with a quiet confidence, navigating the flow of traffic like dancers who know every step. Sidewalks pulse with movement. Shop doors open. Music drifts out from somewhere unseen. Colorful clothing hangs in rows, fluttering gently in the warm breeze. Even something as simple as walking down the street can feel like an adventure. There's always something unexpected waiting to catch your attention. A tiny shrine tucked beside a building, decorated with fresh flowers and burning incense. A group of friends laughing loudly over a shared meal. An elderly craftsman carefully shaping something by hand, focused entirely on the work in front of him. Moments like these reveal the everyday beauty of life in Thailand. But perhaps the most striking thing visitors notice is the balance between old and new. Modern skylines rise above bustling streets, while traditions that began centuries ago continue quietly in the background. Technology moves quickly. Culture moves slowly. And somehow, both exist together without losing their identity. You might see someone checking messages on a smartphone one moment, and moments later they pause to make a respectful gesture at a nearby shrine. It's a reminder that progress doesn't always erase tradition. Sometimes it simply grows around it. As the afternoon sun climbs higher, the tropical heat settles in. This is when many people slow down. Shaded cafes fill with conversation. Cold drinks appear on tables, icy, sweet, refreshing against the warm air. The clink of ice cubes in tall glasses becomes a familiar sound. Fans spin lazily overhead. Outside, palm leaves sway gently while clouds drift slowly across an endless sky. In these quiet hours, travelers often begin to notice something deeper about Thailand. A certain calm. Even in busy places, there's often a sense that people aren't rushing quite as desperately as they might elsewhere. Patience seems woven into daily life. If something takes a little longer, that's okay. If plans change unexpectedly, that's okay too. It's a mindset that many visitors find surprisingly refreshing. Because somewhere along the journey, the pressure to constantly hurry begins to fade. You start enjoying simple things more. The taste of fresh fruit on a hot afternoon. The cool shade of a tree during a walk. The sound of rain beginning to tap softly on rooftops. Speaking of rain, tropical storms in Thailand can be spectacular. Dark clouds gather quickly, towering above the horizon like massive sculptures in the sky. The air grows heavy and still for a moment. Then the rain arrives. Sudden. Powerful. Sheets of water pour down, drumming against roofs and splashing across streets. People laugh and run for cover while others simply continue walking, unfazed by the downpour. But the storm rarely lasts long. Soon the rain begins to soften. Sunlight breaks through again, and the world looks freshly washed and vibrant. Puddles reflect bright blue skies. Plants seem greener. The air feels cooler, lighter. It's one of those moments that makes the environment feel almost magical. As evening approaches, the golden hour paints everything in warm light. The sky turns soft shades of orange and pink while long shadows stretch across streets and fields. Photographers love this time of day. But honestly, you don't need a camera to appreciate it. Just watching the sky slowly change color can feel like its own kind of reward. Gradually, the day transitions again. Lights flicker on across the landscape. Restaurants fill with conversation and the aroma of evening meals. Music begins drifting through open doorways. Night in Thailand carries its own unique energy. Sometimes it's lively and electric, crowds exploring markets, performers entertaining audiences, friends gathering to celebrate another day. Other times it's peaceful. You might find yourself walking along a quiet road under a sky full of stars, the air warm and gentle. Crickets sing in the darkness. Somewhere in the distance, waves roll steadily against the shore. These quieter nights reveal a different side of the country, one that feels deeply calming. And during those moments, travelers often start reflecting on everything they've experienced. Because Thailand has a way of filling your days with so many impressions that it almost feels surreal. The colors. The flavors. The kindness of strangers. The incredible landscapes. The sense of discovery around every corner. Yet the longer you stay, the more you realize something. Thailand isn't just about the famous images people see in travel photos. It's about the smaller, less obvious details. The smile of a vendor who remembers you returning the next day. The quiet beauty of a temple bell ringing softly in the wind. The feeling of warm sand beneath your feet at sunrise. Or the sudden realization that time seems to be moving differently here. Slower. Softer. More intentionally. And when that shift happens, the journey becomes something more than just travel. It becomes a collection of moments that stay with you long after you leave. Moments that replay in your mind when you remember the sounds of bustling streets, the colors of tropical sunsets, and the warmth of a culture that welcomes the world with open arms. And just when you think you've experienced everything Thailand has to offer, another completely different side of the country begins to reveal itself.